All right, I'm sitting here with the Lord of the Mix, Chris Lord Algie, visiting us today at WAVES headquarters. We're thrilled to have him here. Chris, welcome to WAVES.
Thank you, Yanni. Welcome. I'm glad to be here. It was a long bus ride, 8,000 miles. You should see what that's like.
Yeah.
The guy next to me wasn't very happy either. But yeah, I'm glad to be here in Tel Aviv with you today, and we're going to be talking about mixing tips.
Chris?
Okay, let's start with our first mixing tip. Know what you're dealing with and prepare your file before mixing it on a different day. The day you're mixing shouldn't be the day you're preparing. That's a mistake. Don't waste all your good energy on the file preparation. Waste that energy on the actual creative part of it.
That's a great tip. Now, for someone who is a little bit newer and might not get what you mean, what kind of detail can you give about file preparation? Is there anything specific that we can talk about as far as like you get a lot of mixes from people that I'm sure some of them are great and organized and some of them are a mess. What are the mistakes people are making? What do they need to do?
None of it's organized. What you want to do is go through and any comping, any editing, any cleaning up, any drum sampling, any manipulation. You want to do all the prep work so when you start mixing, you open the session, things are where they should be, and the next thing you're doing is you're pushing up and balancing out the session. That you're not comping, you're creating at that point.
That's great. So when you sit down, you're in the mindset of you're just mixing. You're not working and editing and doing.
You're not saying, oh, these 6 tracks need to be fixed and come down to 2. These levels are wrong. This part, I got to clean these edits up. Do all the prep work. Another tip would be to always put your files, okay? Try to put them in the same place, okay? So when you scroll the screen or move the faders, that they're in an order that you're used to. So if you have your drums first and then vocals second, always try to find a routine to where you lay out your session, okay? That's part of organizing. So lay out your session in the same way every time, so when you go to reach for something, you don't have to think where it is, you know where it is.
That's great. It sounds like really like the pre-production, the prep work, if you invest a little bit of time in there, you're going to free yourself up to really invest everything into the mix when you sit down and do it.
Exactly. So we call that location routine or just, it's basically routine on placement. So always don't place it where it came, move everything around so it's in the absolute place you'd want to manage it.
And now in you specifically, is there a certain way that you like to have it managed, a certain order of instruments or?
Well, absolutely. Since I work on a controller, which is a console, I always have my music, my audio files coming in the exact same channels. This is why, so I can, when I go to reach for it, it doesn't matter what song it is, the drums are here, the vocals are there, the guitars are here. So I always bring it up on the same channels. It always tends to be vocals, guitars, drums, bass, and keyboards to the left of the vocals. So basically keyboards, vocals, guitars, drums, bass, and percussion down the end. It's always in that order.
That's cool. It's very interesting because usually like some people will say vocals are always on one end or the other, but you have them kind of in the middle the way.
Find what you're comfortable with, whether you're using a controller or just using the screen, and that's everything to make it simple.